Germany wants US, EU to forge Marshall Plan for Democracy.
Here's a summary of the article.
In the aftermath of the storming of the U.S. Capitol, German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas called for a wide-reaching pro-democracy initiative spearheaded by Washington and its EU allies. "We are ready to work with the United States on a joint Marshall Plan for Democracy," Maas told the German news agency dpa on Saturday. The original Marshall Plan was a U.S. economic campaign launched in 1948 to rebuild 18 war-torn Western European nations. On Saturday, Germany's Maas echoed worldwide condemnation of Donald Trump supporters who had breached the U.S. Capitol building while the lawmakers were working to certify election results. "We must not yield any room to the enemies of liberal democracy," Maas said. "Without democracy in the U.S., there is no democracy in Europe," asserted Maas. On the U.S. campaign trail last year, President-elect Biden floated the idea of a global summit for democracy during his first year in office.
This post received a score of 5,200, with an upvote ratio of 96%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
"We've arranged a society based on science and technology, in which nobody understands anything about science technology. And this combustible mixture of ignorance and power, sooner or later, is going to blow up in our faces." Carl Sagan in the 90s.
Excellent quote. Carl Sagan also describes the mindset of the Trump cultists too, a celebration of ignorance.
Not just Trumpists. Similar groups like Erdoganists also openly celebrate ignorance and anti-intellectualism.
They're actually an ISDS for all these types of people and groups. They're fascists. One and done smiley face.
You're part of the problem, you don't even know what fascism is.
In fairness, not even Mussolini knew. The original fascists never agreed what it actually meant, and over the last 100 years, dozens of sometimes wildly different interpretations and definitions were brought up, and it has been applied to pretty much everything and anything. The term is based on the fasces, an ancient Roman symbol depicting a bundle of wooden rods with an axe in the middle. That's not really much to work with. The very same logo can be seen behind the podium in the U.S. Congress, for example.
Marshall Plan, a program of U.S. economic aid to 17 European countries after the Second World War, 1948–52. Its official title was the European Recovery Program. The plan was named after the person who set it up, U.S. Secretary of State George C. Marshall, 1880–1959, and it was operated by the Organization for European Economic Cooperation. Marshall received the Nobel Prize for Peace in 1953.
So China is basically enacting the Marshall Plan, their version of it anyway, in Africa and building their own economic bloc while Trump moves the U.S. more into isolationism and repeatedly backstabbed and insulted the existing economic bloc we've built. When he said "Make America Great Again," he literally was talking about the Civil War era before World War II, wasn't he? I guess he kept his promise. I guess he won when his supporters waved the Confederate flag in the U.S. Capitol, something even the Confederacy failed to achieve.
Looking at Africa, the Soviet Union built infrastructure and roads in exchange for raw materials. China, who has built roads in Ghana, Uganda, Rwanda, is taking a keen interest. Is it likely to cause any change? What's Biden really going to do? Russia employed a form of total war against Chechnya in the late 90s and early 2000s. Using landmines, they cut Grozny off, then enact a massive carpet bombing and artillery campaign, followed by a door-to-door search and what is considered one of the worst instances of rape ever committed.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.